afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. Hope you had a great weekend. I'm Bonnie Budi.
And I'm Jeannie Dean.
So I know that it's the start of the winter holidays, so all the kids are home. And as a mom, I know the stress of trying to figure out what to do with your kids every single day. But if you want to be inspired today, definitely stay tuned. So that's something to do today.
Exactly, right? Because I mean, what do your kids actually do in the school holidays?
Exactly.
What
Actually,
do
I have to have a plan. I shipped mine off to Gogo's.
Great idea. Well, we've actually got one child in the studio today who decided to not worry about the school holidays. He was just going to get busy with his career while we're at it. And of course, we've got other really, really inspiring people in the loft today as well. And the kitchen, as usual, it's cooking up something hot.
Well, in fact, today is going to be the exact opposite of hot. We're going to be making something so chilly and delicious, it's going to make you fall in love with breakfast again. Before I remind you what we're making on this show, if you are on your mobile phones and you do have that lot of data on your mobile devices and you want to engage with us on social media, on our Facebook page at the moment, we're asking you the question about communities, because we've got a really inspiring story to share of a man who's trying to transform his community from the inside out. So if you've got any reasons or ways that you think we can help transform communities to prevent youth from getting involved in things they probably shouldn't be getting involved in, to live a wholesome life, share those stories with us, and perhaps we could be reading your comments live on the show today. So I've got a surprise in the kitchen. Besides making something deliciously treaty for a breakfast season, we've also got a guest chef in the loft, and it happens to be the youngest guest chef we've ever had on Afternoon Express. Tanaka, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
Good, thank you. So you are in school holidays at the moment.
Yes,
What school do you go to?
I go to Curious Century City High.
Okay, and what grade are you in?
Grade 9.
Grade 9. And love cooking?
Yes, I
love breakfast?
Cooking. Not really, I don't like breakfast.
Okay, well, Clem, let's make her fall in love with breakfast again.
Absolutely. And first, can I just say, kids belong in the kitchen. That's where they belong. So Tanaka's here today, and I'm gonna convince you that breakfast is the way to go.
Really?
Yeah.
Love it. So all of these details are going to be on our show today. What exactly are we making? We've said we're going to make her fall in love with it again, but let's tease everyone. What are we making?
A beautiful, deliciously treaty cereal and fruit pop.
Oh, yummy.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be not to be missed on the show today. I hope you had a great weekend so far. We'll be making something yummy in the kitchen. But I thought to start off the show on an inspiring note, it's a motivational Monday, of course. Let's meet our first guest.
Clover fresh milk is way better. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back. Joining us is now the youth in South Africa has had a world of choice when it comes to careers these days. But most of them also face challenges that can possibly down their dreams.
Now, one such person is Thembinkosi Matika. He thought he had his path planned out by working hard, rising above his circumstances and going to university. Then he dropped out and started selling drugs.
But he turned his life around and is now an entrepreneur and community activist. Joining us now is Thembinkosi. Welcome to the loft.
Welcome.
Thank you guys for
having a look at all of your accolades and all of the things that you've achieved and that you do and that you've done over the past few years, it's hard to believe that you started off in such a really down place. Firstly, I mean, you had the privilege to go to university.
Yes,
Why didn't it work out for you?
I think number one, as I did it, I found out that it's not in line with what I wanted to do, and also it didn't feel right.
What were you studying?
I was doing medical bioscience at the
University of I mean, did you particularly pursue that career because you thought this would be a successful path? This is sure to be the formula that's going to get me to where I need to go. Or do you think you chose it out of a passion?
No, when I went, it was pressure, number one, because at home I'm the oldest, so it was pressure from my family. And also it was a pressure from the school that I used to attend because I was one of the top students.
Okay, but listen, medical bioscience means that you were obviously incredibly smart. So what would you have gotten on to be a doctor if you had qualified?
Yes, yep.
But instead of selling prescription medication as a doctor, you went on to sell street drugs. Yeah. How did you end up being a drug dealer?
First you started out as a barman.
Yes.
You got a job as a barman.
Yeah, that's where it all started. I think that's where I got introduced. There was a customer that came at the bar, and then that he was looking for marijuana, and because it was easy for me to get, and I went and I bought him marijuana, and then I sold it to him, and then I made a profit right there. And then from there, I started selling. And then from there, I graduated to women drugs, to crystal meth.
Wow. Yeah. And while you were selling the drugs, were you thinking at all about the end user, the person that you were selling to, and how this was affecting their lives or their families? Or was it just for you, bottom line?
Yeah, it was about money when I did it. I was not thinking, it was, at that time I needed money. It was a business,
And were you I always worry about, I think about people that go on to sell drugs. Do you use drugs at the time that you're selling it? Or is it just rands and cents? Is it just a business for you?
When I started, I was just selling, you know, and then because I was making a lot of money, I started drinking. And then from there, I started experimenting as well with the crystal meth as well, you know, just to, you know, when I'm drinking, and then it was just, yeah.
Whoa, and what did that feel like?
I can't explain it.
Really?
I can't explain it, you know, but it's not an experience that I would love to experience again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then what was the catalyst and what happened in your life that led to you getting arrested and ultimately going to jail?
I think when I started, you know, because I was making a lot of money, you know, things happen so fast. So when I got arrested, that's when I got an opportunity to
What did
to, like,
you do
pause.
to get arrested? Were you caught?
Oh, yeah, I was
drugs?
caught. I was caught, yeah. So I got an opportunity to reflect, you know, ask myself, Thembinkosi, I mean, I was smart at school, how did you get here?
Yeah, how did
you
you
know,
end
so it
up
was that
here?
conversation with myself and also the communication, the conversation I got from God, because my name is Thembinkosi, which means trust God. But before I went to prison, I didn't believe in God.
Yeah.
I think I had an encounter with God. You know.
Because
long were
many
you-
people go to prison, sorry, darling, and they become repeat offenders. It's not necessarily doesn't mean that if you go to prison, you're going to have an
Exactly.
awakening and a moment that turns your life around.
Yeah, and when I speak to young people, I always say that, you know, to be successful in life, you do not have to walk my path. It's the journey that I went through.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that to be successful, you also need to go through the same route, because most people do not get an opportunity to change, you know. But
Yeah.
I had that encounter.
Because I think, you know, you always see these stories of people going to jail and then for a minor offence and then they come out worse than what
Worse
they
than-
ever were
yeah.
because of the connections that they made.
Yep.
And I mean, what was your experience like in jail? I mean, what is it like in there? Because obviously there must be some epiphany that happens to you that even hardens you up, makes you worse, or makes
Helps you turn around.
do
Yeah.
exactly what you did, going, this isn't who I am, I'm not living the life I'm meant to be leading.
I think for me, I was arrested with African-speaking people. First of all, I can't speak Afrikaans. So at that time, I like to talk. But for the first time in my life, I had to just keep quiet, listen. So for me, that's when, you know, I had that message from God, you know, because I prayed. I said, God, if you do exist, and then you'll show me right now. I am not going to Posmo. And fortunately for me, I never went to Posmo. I was at the holding cell for 4 nights. So I said, God, if you exist, you will prove it.
And
then
what was
from
the
there-
message? What was the message you got? And
For
how
me,
did it empower you?
When it was time for me to appear at the magistrate, my name was, you know, scratched just like that.
Whoa.
I don't know what happened, but, you know, I was the last person to be called and my name was scratched. And then from there, I walked out and then I never looked back.
Do you think if you had gone to Pollsmoor, things would have been different?
I think so. I think so, but we'll never know.
Right.
But I think so.
So you leave prison with this newfound vigor to actually turn your life around. What was the first thing you thought to do?
I said because, you know, selling. So when I was arrested, I got to think about the impact of what I was doing. So I said to myself, God, give me an opportunity. I want to build young people's lives. That was my prayer. So when I went out, I was looking for opportunities to get involved, and then from there I got a job. And
Because you already had an interest in uplifting communities. I mean, didn't you, when you were working at the bar, work with like young hip hoppers and? But you were already interested in uplifting the young kids of the community from before you got into trouble.
Yes, I was running hip hop open mic sessions. That's what I was doing. You know, so I was working as a barman, making money, and also investing that money in my hip hop open mic session, which I was running at Tumfulen. So
Right.
I was.
What was it about the youth in your community that you felt like I can make a lasting change in these people's lives, and why was it so apparent to you their need?
I think for me, it was because of my life experiences, because I never had a role model. I never had someone who guided me, you know, in life to say that, Thembinkosi Matika, this is the path that you're not supposed to take. These are the things that you need to avoid in life. So I became that person, you know. So because when people become successful where I'm coming from, they leave the township. So I live in that township, so I got to, you know, tell my story. So it's not something that, when I speak to young people, it's not something that I read from the book. I'm talking about my life, you know. So they need someone who believes in them and someone who will guide them. So I became that person.
Wow.
That's
You know, and
amazing.
there's a lot of potential in the township, lots of potential.
So Bonnie asked you, what was the first thing you thought to do the minute you left prison? What was the first thing you actually did when you left prison? The first thing that you thought, this is what I'm going to do to turn my life around and to start building the community around
I think because I'm a spiritual person, you know, and I believe in God. what happened is that I got to meet a poet that was performing at one of my open mic sessions, and she was working as a social worker for an organization called Africa Tikkun.
Yeah.
She told me about an internship position that was available, and then I applied, and then I got the job.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened.
Because it's amazing, like looking at all that you've done, and we're going to be discussing all that you've done and unpack what you've done for your community. But it's almost like you're saving the community that you were once harming with your drug dealing. So it's kind of like paying
Full
it forward.
circle, yeah. Now, Thembinkosi story doesn't end there, and he'll be telling us more about that work later on the show.
All I can say is Nkosi, Thembinkosi, really cool to have you on the show today, sharing your story with us. What an inspiring young man. Cannot wait to continue having that conversation. Now, next up, one of our guests is so cool. He's one of the youngest guys that I've ever met who managed to start himself his very own music career. He was being bullied in primary school and then eventually went on a trip to LA with his mum, which wasn't going so well for them until it ended, where he met one of the biggest stars in the music industry who has mentored him for the past 4 years. That story coming up next. A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. It's a motivational Monday and we have got some incredible stories for you on the show today. Now, when a child shows passion and talent in a creative field, that love can only grow with the support from a parent. Mykyle and his mom share a very special connection. He's a musician and his mom is his biggest fan, but their journey was not without bumps on the road. So let's see what the superstar is all about.
Mama, you okay now? You're safe now. You're in a better place now. I see you another day now. Mama, you okay? Mama, you okay? Mama, you okay? Mama, you okay? Don't worry about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mykyle on Afternoon Express. I need to get some swagger tips from you because that Nasty C track is so cool, doing a cover for it. Welcome to our loft.
Thank you for having me on today, man.
Dude, it's so cool. 15 years old and like pursuing a music career is amazing. So let's go back right to the beginning, because I know we mentioned this fact that your journey wasn't always roses and butterflies and rainbows. It was quite a difficult one, especially in your younger years. What happened when you were 8 to 9 years old?
I basically experienced my first racial encounter where someone said something to me about my skin color, which, you know, I never experienced before. I was only 8 years old. And yeah, we were really young. We were on the field, and this kid basically just threw racial slurs at me. And it was one of those things, like, I didn't know how to react because I've never experienced it before. And so I knew it was wrong, but I didn't know the level of...
Yeah, how wrong it was. So you weren't too sure what to do. Phone mom, and then what did she say?
Yeah, no, I went to the principal. I told her, can I please speak to my parents? And they called my mom and dad in, and they also do not tolerate racism. So they took it up with the school and basically tried to make sure that stuff like that gets punished more severely, because there was really no punishment for what he said.
And the school didn't really act much on top of that. So then, did your parents pull you out of school from there?
No, I stayed in my primary school until high school.
Okay, great. And then that's when you started to pursue your music career, really like focused. You were already focused in terms of pursuing your music career by then. And your grandfather, if I'm not mistaken, had a studio. So how did you get from that kid who was being bullied in primary school to being homeschooled and now following your dreams in terms of pursuing music?
Well, you know, I went through school, my primary school. I did a lot of stuff in the choir and things like that. And then I went to high school and I experienced some bullying there. And I wasn't really happy there, so I called my parents, and they also agreed that I should come out. And from there is when the music kind of kicked off. I was, well, actually before then, my bad. I went in, my grandfather had made a studio, and I made a song there. I begged my parents to let me go in. And it took a long time, but I finally got into the studio. My mom dropped me off at about 1. And she picked me up at 6. And so we had 5 hours. I met with the producer, Trat, and we made a song. And that's when my mom...
So heard it for the first time?
Yeah.
And was she always supportive of you?
Yeah, she never told me don't become a singer, but she never really always believed that I could actually do it.
Until that song came about.
Yeah.
And that's when your kind of bond started to grow, as she started to realize how talented you were, and you were like, Mom, I really want to do this thing. And then what happened in terms of you guys trying to go overseas and then having to come back? Because that was quite a hard trip until the end, where it kind of changed your life forever.
So that trip, my mom was going to the States to look at relocating, and I just knew the States because for the music, you know, all the big stars are from there. So in my head, we were just going for music. She didn't even tell me that we were planning on relocating, and she sent emails with my song. She sent emails with my song through to record labels, and you know, towards the end, I was still waiting for them to get back, and none of them responded. We couldn't get a meeting with any of them. So I was really sad, because that for me was the main goal of the trip. And towards the end, I really just wanted to come back home.
So you were despondent, and then you met an incredible man on an aeroplane. Tell us about your encounter with him.
So that one, we were supposed to be flying back to South Africa, but our flight got cancelled. So I was feeling bad, and it went even worse. So I was really sad, and our flight was cancelled, so we were flying back on Christmas Day. And then, you know, my mom was trying to cheer me up, and then we hear this, like, everyone's talking, whispering, and my mom said, look who that is, and I couldn't see from the back, and she said, Mykyle, it's CeeLo Green, and my dad plays CeeLo Green's music all the time, like when he was in Knowles Barkley, so I instantly knew who that was, and she said, this is your opportunity, you have to go play him your music. And, you know, I was really scared, so I waited for the flight. My mom prepped me up through about half the flight, and I had to wait for the air hostesses to
leave.
So I could time my walk
So
perfectly.
this man snuck into first class, found CeeLo Green, played him a single. He said, listen, my wife is going to make the final decision, played the track, and their relationship has just grown since then. So just to show you exactly how sort of unique their relationship is, CeeLo sent him a very cool happy birthday message for his 15th birthday.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, Mykyle.
We just wanted to reach out and say happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I hope you are enjoying it, young man.
We love you, and we miss you and your mom. Hopefully you have an amazing year to come.
Yep.
Keep doing your music, brother.
And he has been keep doing his music, which is really cool. What an incredible experience. Now listen, I have to do something here because I mean your mom's played a really important part in your life, and we haven't got a chance to chat to her. So I'd like to call your mom over onto set, if you don't mind. Kate, how are you this afternoon?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you. And thanks for supporting your son in all of this journey. I mean, he's going to perform later on national television in South Africa. He's got to meet CeeLo Green, and it's all because you've really been pushing him and supporting him along the journey. What is it like raising a 15-year-old protege who wants to create a career out of music?
I think it's challenging for any mom to raise a teenager in this day and age, but I think Mykyle is, you know, he's very driven and very passionate, and he pushed me really hard when he was really young to say, this is what I want to do, and I'm quite certain that this is how I want to spend the rest of my life. And I really, you know, I wasn't sure, because when kids are young, they try out different things. You never really know what they're going to end up, you know, becoming. And when he forced me and was that persistent with the studio, I was like, okay, let's see what happens. And then when he came out with this incredible song, which he literally wrote and produced for the first time ever in studio, I was quite shocked, as was the rest of my family. And they were all saying to me, well, what are you doing about it, Mom? I was like, okay, I need to do something now. So, you know, it's been an interesting journey. When we went to the States, obviously him being as young as he was, 11, he was really, in his mind, it was all about the big dream, and kids think it happens so effortlessly. And I was pretty naive. I was pretty naive about it as well. But honestly, the meeting with CeeLo was just amazing, a fateful
thing. But listen, to be honest, we're going to get to see him perform later on, and we'll see all of how this has come together in a while. I feel like I need to do a fist pump with you because you're cool. Let's do this. Because you're epic, and I love your swag, and he's going to teach me some of that a little bit later on. But also, Kate, your story is absolutely amazing. So thank you for coming and joining us on the show. And I think it's a great example to parents that you support your child to be the best that they can ever be. And even if they choose tough industries like music, this allows him to be the best version that he can be of himself.
Absolutely. We absolutely are enthralled by Mykyle. And that's not all from him. He'll be performing later. And back on the couch after the break, we chat to Thembinkosi and catch up more on his inspiring journey. And Clem gets started on those cereal popsicles. So don't go away. Don't go away. Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. Now we're back with entrepreneur and social activist Thembinkosi Matika, who went from selling drugs in his younger days to being an agent for positive change in communities. He does this through the various initiatives that he leads.
So welcome back. Now, we heard about your dark past, and then you turned everything around. And now one of your initiatives is the Amanhlane Farmers and Multi-Purpose Co-op.
Yeah.
What exactly is it? Where is it? And how does it work?
Okay, it's a family business. So when it started off at Mfuleni, so we had a small garden there. So myself and my father, we knew nothing about farming. But we learned, through using the land that we had, the small land that we had here at Mfuleni. Yeah. But now we're currently developing land in the Eastern Cape, whereby we are growing moringa. It's
what is moringa?
We love moringa.
No, what is it? Do I know what it is?
It's a supplement.
It's a natural supplement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, with the most powerful natural supplement.
You love it.
Really? And what is it? How does it come?
It's a supplement.
Green
just
powder.
Like, it's a green powder.
Okay.
With a lot of probiotics.
How
and a
have
lot
you
of
never
vitamins.
bringing me more moringa?
Because I thought you were already taking it.
No, like I need some in my life. You're going to have to come back and visit. I'm a moringa man.
Well, it's actually taking over the supplement scene, so yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah. So that's what we're doing, and the idea in the Eastern Cape as well is to because I love developing young people. Yeah. So we also want to run a youth program whereby we teach young people how to grow this herb, so that they can also start their own farms at schools and also in their villages in the Eastern Cape where I'm coming from.
That's incredible. You're also an ambassador for an organization called Educo. What do you guys do then?
Educo Africa, that's the organization that assisted me to make the transition from selling drugs to doing what I'm doing. Because, when I moved from selling drugs to doing what I'm doing, I was doing this out of guilt. But when I went to Educo Africa, I kind of healed. So I went to the mountains, Educo Mountains for 9 days to kind of, let go. I dealt with my...
Is it a program that they put you through? Yes,
it's a leadership program, but it's a wilderness-based program whereby
you connect with your
and you face yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. You have those, you cry and stuff, you do everything and stuff. Yeah. So that's what I did. And when I came back there, I was very dangerous. I came back, very dangerous. And then I just, I was all over the place. So that's the organization that assisted me to make that transition.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. Yeah. Like going to this place where you just connect with yourself by connecting with nature.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, looking back, are you really grateful that you went through that tumultuous time?
Yes, I'm very grateful.
It sounds like it became a huge blessing.
It was. I mean, because at the end of the program, you do a mask, whereby kind of like a vision board in terms of how you want to live your life. And everything that I'm currently doing today, it's the declaration that I made when I left those mountains. Even this.
That's amazing.
And you still
even
this show.
Really?
Even this show, everything that I do, everything that I do in life, it's intentional. It's there on my wall.
On your vision board.
So I'm not that surprised that I'm here.
Oh, wow. You also run a program called the Parliamentary Youth Program. Tell us about what that program does.
I used to run, because I'm very busy now. So the program that I used to run, I used to equip young people so that they can hold local government accountable. Because now, where I'm coming from, we elect councillors, but we do not hold them accountable. So I was training young people to be vocal. You need to. If you vote for the councillor, you need to hold them accountable. So we used to bring your community, not only the councillors, everyone that is involved in bringing about change in the communities. We used to invite them in a space like this, and then young people used to ask them questions, hold them accountable. So, but because of I'm very busy now, that program is on hold. It's on hold. Yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. I always feel like when you speak to people that are successful, they can always go back and say, I'm so grateful for the hard times that I have. I think with everybody, don't you feel that when you go through something really bad and then you come out at the end of it, you're always grateful for that hard time. But how do you then reach out to the youth and say that they can't kind of make use of that time of going through the bad and kind of use it as a crutch to be able to get the responsibility to man up and to be able to change their lives?
So your question is, how do I?
How are you able to, like I think a lot of people when they mess up, they kind of can justify it. Yeah. But then how do you say that I suppose, how do you get to that point of change?
The change, I think it's when you make peace with yourself, as I'm saying, I realized that I messed up, then I forgave myself. regardless of how the community is perceiving.
But then how do you stick to it? Like now, you've got your vision, you've got that board. Isn't it easy to kind of get a little bit lazy and go, I'm not going to do that now? What keeps you so determined?
Number one, it's the environment. You know, I'm no longer hanging in those circles, number one. And I got myself some mentors and coaches. You know, it's the environment that you know, the people that you hang around with.
You're also a coach and a counselor yourself.
Yeah.
What are the themes that you focus on when you get a new group of young people and you can see that they're just hungry for knowledge? What are the steps that you take them through?
First of all, the mind. It's all about the mind. It's a mind game, So if you do not know how this operates, you will never win in life. So the first thing that we work on, it's the mind. How to use your mind, you know, and also how to use your mind to connect with your spirit and also with your physical being, you know, because we operate on three levels: your mind, your spiritual being, and your physical being. So in order for you to create a congruence within those levels, you need to understand how this works. So from there, we do goal setting, because your goals will take you closer to your purpose. And ultimately, it's all about purpose, you know. We need to do what God created us to do. There are problems out there that need you guys to, each and everyone was created for a purpose. There's a challenge that needs to be fixed, and it will never be fixed by
until
anyone
you step up to your purpose.
Exactly. So for me, it's the mindset, goal setting, and purpose. You know.
I love your message. I almost want to come to one of your seminars.
Can you coach us?
No, but if people do want to be coached by you, how do they get hold of you?
I'm always on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where people get hold of me, and I'm always on Facebook. That's the easiest way to.
And of course,
we'll look out for our messages on Facebook.
And your details will be available on our Facebook as well, and on our website. So there you have it. It's all about the change you can bring about. Now, Danilo and Clem transform cereal into popsicles in the kitchen.
It's gonna be yummy. So make sure that you guys, if you're one of those people at home who perhaps doesn't like breakfast or skips breakfast because you're too busy or doesn't like eating too early in the morning, Tanaka, who's on school holidays at the moment, is in exactly the same boat. And Clem is going to try and convince us that breakfast can be cool. Do you think he can do that for us, Tanaka?
Yes, I can.
Let's see if he does it. Are you going to fist pump me? Sure, you almost left me hanging there. Goes on school holiday, forgets all manners. It's fine. I see Tanaka. We brought her in from the Western Cape, and she's going to be coming in to spend some time with us on Afternoon Express today, which is awesome. So get us excited about breakfast, Clem.
I can't believe that you don't love breakfast, though. Honestly, one day I'll have a restaurant that serves breakfast all day.
I think it's mostly because I just don't have the time for it, so I just
okay. I'm just too busy, I've got school to go to, and everyone tells me what to do, and I'm so busy.
Yes.
Oh, she says yes. Okay, cool. Well, this is great, right? Because you'll actually make this the night before. Do you have some time in the evening after homework?
Not really.
Oh, my word. Dad, I'm just not winning.
Not. Make us come, let's prove it that we can get this done.
You'll love this one. So what I'm going to ask you to do...
Little does she know that when it becomes a real grown-up, she'll realise what hard work is.
Exactly. Anyway, let's just start shopping. You're not a grown-up yet, but I know you got some serious knife skills because I know you love being in the kitchen.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you just to, I think you can do a nice slice on these strawberries for me.
Okay.
These strawberries are amazing. They're in season right now. What's really awesome is you can smell them, which makes a difference. It sounds silly, but you should be able to smell the fruit. If you give that a smell, will you do that for us? What does it smell like?
Strawberry.
So intense, so delicious. Strawberries are in season right now. Damn, it's a thing, okay? Berries are in season now, and you should always smell your fruit before you buy it. That's how you know how ripe it's going to be when you actually end up biting into it. So cool. Dan, do you
I know it's really gross. My mom used to say I must always smell my clothes before I wash them. That was her biggest thing.
Okay, well, I'd say smell your fruit instead. Okay, cool. So I've got some blueberries. Dan, I'm going to put you to work. How's that?
Cool, do it.
So here we go. I've got some cereal for you. I'm going to give you...
Should I come around this side to you?
Yeah, sure. Get in there. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is your spoon. You're going to start filling these little containers at the bottom. Just, I don't want all the way to the top, just like a nice layer at the bottom. What do you think?
Enough?
A little more.
A little more than that. So these are going to be these popsicles. These are going to make the base of these popsicles, right? So you want a little bit of the cereal, which is your carbohydrate for the morning. And you're going to be adding the fruit later on, which are all your antioxidants, etc.
And it's a great way to get your 5 a day in, which is very, very important. Not just for kids, but for growing young men like you as well.
Okay. I always use milk in the morning as well as yogurt because I need to get that in as well in my into my diet, all the proteins and probiotics and stuff. So I know that particularly the Clover milk, the full cream, has got quite a good one in terms of your protein levels.
Exactly, and being a mom, or as you said, or even for you.
Not a mom.
Not a mom. But you're totally fine, and you should be very happy going with Clover because of its superior quality. Do you know it actually stays fresher for longer?
No, I didn't know.
Which for me is great because I buy a 2 litre that actually lasts quite long.
I see. Also, I'm a single guy, you know what I mean? I want to buy a whole thing and then it goes fraught after a few days.
Well, you'll be perfectly fine. And the taste is so amazing, so rich and creamy. I love milk Like you have no idea. Like I've even got my little glass here just in case I got thirsty. Just could grab a little snack at the end. Tanaka, that's looking amazing. What you can do for me, Dan can actually start layering on the strawberries.
Cool. You're doing well, by the way. What do you usually cook at home? Are you a big fan of cooking?
Yes, I have such a great passion for cooking, and yeah, I actually hope to take it into an actual career and have a world-renowned restaurant.
Oh wow, fancy!
I love it. I love it.
Then she'll know what real busyness is all about. Then she'll know what it means to be busy. That's exciting.
So, like, this recipe is quite simple. Is it something that you would do at home?
I'm gonna try it because I said I don't have the time for breakfast, but I guess I can do this at night. It looks really interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can play around with the fruits. I mean, whatever fruits you like, you can totally substitute the berries. I just think berries are great right now because they're in season.
Yeah.
So
and she also mustn't tell us about time she's on school holiday. She's got all the time to make breakfast.
All
the time in the world. Let's finish this recipe.
Right, so here comes our beautiful clover milk. Just because Tanaka pointed this out, I was actually going to pour it straight. Yeah, so you can go for it. Tanaka, I was going to pour it straight from the bottle into the popsicle mold, and she was like, you know, you probably are going to miss.
Oh, okay.
So it's like she has watched the show. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got a little beaker to make life a little easier.
We like it when Clem messes. It makes us not feel bad about ourselves. You want to pour this in for me? Because you can get going on that. You're probably better at doing this, unless we don't take the blame. Clem and I are stepping back.
So if it does happen, we weren't
Blame
there.
Tanaka.
There we go.
Okay, she's doing well.
So what's really cool is, if you don't have these at home, these popsicle molds, I like using paper cups and just doing that, creating those layers. Paper cups work really well as well. I mean, you're not going to go out and find popsicle sticks. So what you're going to do, straws.
I love it.
They
Oh,
work
I
so
see.
well.
So you just kind of a straw in the top, and that bit makes the actual popsicle
Exactly.
thing.
So what you can do is you can actually pop a few straws in there. Can I please have one of the flamingo straws?
Okay.
Oh gosh, Clem, give him the blue straw at least to balance it out.
A little bit, okay. Nothing wrong with a little flair.
Lovely. So this is it. You put these in the freezer and then?
So it goes to the freezer and it sits up like rock hard, like a popsicle is supposed to be.
Okay.
And you get these amazing guys over here.
Oh my word.
They are so cool and so delicious. You want to try one?
Yummy. I do actually want to try one. I want a chocolate one. I want to try one of the chocolate tip ones.
There you go.
Yeah. I'll give our guest first. Tanaka, you can go with the first one.
Thank
That's
you.
yours.
They look so pretty.
Oh, you gave me a strawberry one. Typical.
There we go. You know what I'm gonna have? I'm gonna have a glass of milk. What do you think?
Oh, yummy.
Did I win?
Because
They're so
it's
yum.
crunchy with the cereal. It's nice and cold with that, with obviously the lollipop in there.
It's really yum.
It's like a frozen yogurt.
Yes.
Yum. By the way, if you guys want any of these details, you can get them on your mobile device. You SMS the keyword treat to 33650. It'll cost you $1.50 and your free SMSs don't apply. And hey, perhaps you're on school holiday, you're chilling, and you forgot to tune into the show early on. Here's a quick recap. And just one more reminder, if you are wanting to get the details for this recipe on your mobile device, it's really simple. You SMS the keyword treat to 33650 at a cost of $1.50. Don't forget your free SMSs don't apply, and you'll be getting all the details on your mobile device. And it's so cool we're making popsicles, because that's exactly my nickname for my father.
Clover fresh milk is way better. Made with love by Clover.
Those three in the kitchen seem to be well into the holiday spirit. Now, we're going to take a short break, but after the break, we celebrate moms who keep the ball rolling with it during the school term or on holiday. Don't go away.
Welcome back. You're watching Afternoon Express on SABC3. Thanks for joining us. Now, our social media question for today is, what can community members do to try and encourage the youth to stay on the right path? And the comments that have been coming through are absolutely phenomenal. So I wanted to read through some of those. One came through from Monica Kobe. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. She says, I live in Meadowlands, and I must say that our centre is the best. My Happy Boy makes sure that there is less crime and drug abuse in our wards by getting our youth college support. And now I have spoken with him to start some project to include other groups that don't qualify for these free college courses. Together we can build a great neighbourhood. So providing education opportunities that don't cost too much help limit those barriers to entry. I love that one, Monica. Thank you. Nasli Cornelissen says, I would love for the community to start adventure scouts, teach them about life and being proactive during these camps. I think that's so cool. Get them off the streets and into talking about these things. Naishi says, they ought to be a good example and great leaders so that the youth can look up to them and make great choices in life. And I love that. So with great leaders provides great example for youngsters to follow. So thanks for all those comments that came through. You guys can keep posting. Our Facebook page is Afternoon Express. Now, do you know an incredible mom? A mom who raises money for a good cause, helps her community, or has supported her family through hard times? Well, Bonnie spent the day with a group of strong and extraordinary mothers, much like herself, making a difference in the lives of people around them at the Clicks Mom of the Year competition.
Being a working parent means one has two very demanding jobs, and the Clicks Mom of the Year 2017 finalists know exactly what it means to be caught in the crossfire between office and home. This year, Clicks has decided to honor these incredible women in their home, at work, and in their communities. Today, they're being treated to a special day at the Mangwanani Original African Spa for a much-needed day of pampering. Tamara, what exactly is the Clicks Mom of the Year competition and how has it become a yearly highlight?
Well, for us at Clicks, it's the second year that we're running Mom of the Year, and it's basically about celebrating and pampering moms around South Africa.
Now, as a mom, I'm biased, obviously, and I think moms should be spoiled every day. But why does Clicks think this is important?
Well, for Clicks, I think it's about us saying thank you and giving back to our customers and rewarding them and just celebrating moms around South Africa.
It is so important to go an extra mile and celebrate our moms because they are pillars and anchors of the family. There is no home without a mom.
Being nominated by my daughter to be part of this competition, I feel very proud about it.
The most memorable moments with my mom is when we were growing up. She has been the most amazing woman, so strong and so loving. We've been going through a lot, but then through all that, she stood very strong, so loving, and she gave us the best of everything.
It is important that we have to go extra mile for our mothers because they gave life. They are our pillar of strength. Without them at home, it can be cold. Back then, I was still young, or maybe I was 12. I lost my dad, and she lost her job. But then she managed that I have to go to good schools, and I was so happy. I was so happy. My childhood was very amazing just because of her as a single parent.
My daughter nominated me, and I'm so proud of what my daughter did to me because the whole thing came when I was in tears. On the 10th of May, I lost my son. On the 20th of May, I buried him. After that, a week, the competition phoned. They phoned the people from Clicks to tell us that, oh, we're going to be here. So I feel very proud and I'm happy. Instead of tears now, I'm happy and I'm laughing with people here.
My youngest daughter, Chrisley, she entered the competition and I feel so overwhelmed. Yes. I'm actually feeling blessed.
I think it's very important to make my mother feel special because why? She is the one who has raised me since birth. I never had a father and I grew up with her. She taught me the lessons in life, what's right and what's wrong. So basically, she was the one who I could go to. She was my support system, my everything. So I love her and I need to make sure that she's fine and she's special.
And the winner today is Zalma Edson and Melissa Edson. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We're really excited about the prize.
Melissa, why did you decide to nominate your mom for this competition?
Well, I really thought my mom deserved this when I saw the Clicks Mom of the Year competition, because she's always done a lot for us. Like, she is a single mother of 4 kids, and she's always been there for us. When it came to my pregnancy, she's been there. When she came to look after my child and my sister as well, who has cancer, she's also there for her. She's also looking after my 2 little sisters, who's 5 and 3 years old.
So among one of the prizes is a 10,000 Rand shopping voucher. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to spoil my kids with it, especially my grandchildren. Got another grandson on the way of my daughter that's in hospital at the moment. So I'm always going to go to my grandson.
And I'm going to make sure she spoils herself as well, so squeeze in things for her as well.
Well, ladies, enjoy your day, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Do you know any incredible moms? Well, after today, I know several, thanks to the Clicks Mom of the Year 2017 competition. And you know what makes moms really magical is that even after all the hard work is done, they still make sure every member of the family feels loved and cared for. And that's just one of the reasons why we love them.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on this Monday afternoon. We're live on SABC3 and it's so great to have you. We've had such inspiring guests on the show today, from youngsters like taking up their dreams and knowing what they want from a very young age, to Thembinkosi thinking he knew what he wanted and then realizing, oh, that's not going to take him down a great path, and then started his own journey. But Mum, I haven't got to ask you, Kate, about your journey, about raising a young child in the 21st century. Like, how do you prevent kids from getting involved in things they probably shouldn't?
I mean, I think, we have to firstly be aware of the vices out there for teenagers. I think it's not an easy life for them with social media and with the kinds of challenges that they face. I think it's a much more difficult world for teenagers in this day and age. So I think to be supportive of them is the best we can do as parents. I mean, we make mistakes too, and we're learning because the internet was not around when I was young, so we're also kind of parenting on the cuff, as it were.
Absolutely.
But I really think that, discipline, teaching them good values is important, and being there for them, supporting their dreams. I'm a big believer in dreams. I think a lot of us would be happier as adults if we'd pursued our dreams.
I did.
Absolutely. And did you have any fears going into this industry? Because it's quite an industry.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy decision to send your child into the limelight. I think, there's pros and cons to that. But I think, you know, Mykyle he's intelligent, he's bright, and he's got a decent head on his shoulders. He's got, you know, he's not in it just for the glitz and the glamour of it. He takes it much more seriously. So for him, it's an art. And I think when you see a child putting that kind of dedication into something, you have to support it. You'd be failing them if you didn't. So I really think that, and definitely good values. I think we are such an example to our kids. We often forget that they watch everything we do, and if you're saying something negative or you're using bad language, they're going to repeat it. So you know, it's not an easy thing. I think we just have to be, we have to set the right example for them, and definitely discipline. You know, he's got to do his chores, just like every other teenager should. And just to remember that, you know, they've also got a responsibility as a child. To their peers, to their friends, not to bully and so forth.
But speaking of friends and your peers, I mean, because you're being homeschooled at the moment, like, and also following a career that while the rest of your friends are still just doing their thing in high school, they're just trying to get by, I guess, and you're busy focusing on your career at the moment and being homeschooled. Like, do you feel like you're being equipped and ready to take on the real world, or do you still feel like a child that still wants to just go back to school and have friends and live a normal life?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Like, when I started my homeschooling, I missed my friends, but when you don't have friends, I feel like my grades have picked up a lot, just because I'm not always talking. Yeah, I was being distracted. So, but this year what we did was my tutor comes with the friends, so I kind of get a bit of both.
Okay, so you get the best of both worlds.
And he made the decision to actually be homeschooled and lose all, and he's a social child, so he really made a massive sacrifice to say, I'm gonna have to let the friend thing go because this is more important to me. So
I don't know what I want to do.
Did you decide to homeschool as a result of his career commitments and trying to make sure that you maximize your time? Is that
I mean, I think there was some catalyst to that decision, but it was always a decision that we were contemplating as a family, just because he was so passionate about the music thing. So, and you know, and not all schools necessarily support the arts per se. You know, academics are more important sometimes. So we were trying to give him the best support system we could find, and that was literally at home.
Because I was literally
well done.
At his age, he's passionate about the music. I was passionate about trying to find girls to kiss. That was it, like in high school. I didn't really have anything else to do.
You're still passionate about trying to find girls.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. You have not grown at all.
But Mykyle, you've got to go prepare a performance for us, right? So we're going to let you go.
Yeah, go and prep. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very proud of you for being a mom who supports your kids' dreams, because I think it's one of the most important things that parents can do, is to realize that kids are going to have these crazy big ideas, and knowing how to steer them in a direction is beautiful.
And do you have any amazing success stories of people that you've mentored so far?
I think for me, every day at Project Playground, because I also work as a full-time job. I work as a center manager for Project Playground, a youth organization that is based in Langa with 410 participants. You know, so doing that every day for me, you know, like on the 15th of July, we're taking them to Sweden to compete at the Gothia Cup. So that on its own, you know, taking them out of Ulanga to Sweden, that will definitely change their mindset as well. So
thank you for the work you do. It's amazing. It really is great. From where you came from too. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Performing his latest single, See Her. Here's Mykyle.
Causing damage, and you know that that's a bad habit. And if you want to she's slicker than your average. I didn't even see her coming at me like I need to meet her, at me like I need to meet her. I didn't even see her coming at me like I need to meet her, at me turn it on the heater. I know I wanna be with you tonight. Oh, I need to see you tonight. Oh, they say that good things don't last forever, but I know we can change it in time. You know that I won't be here forever, so I don't wanna hold back, baby, I don't wanna hold back. Na 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 no, na 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 no, na 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 no. You came into my life like a bandit, and you know that she moving on reckless, and she know how to use her own checklist. Everybody know that she's slicker than your average.
As a mom, can I ask you a really honest question? I mean, when you hear some of what the lyrics are, aren't you like, what you know about that boy?
Well, honey, that's absolutely true. I am a little concerned about I think, these are real experiences. Those are real experiences that teenagers are actually having. And I do kind of allow freedom of speech. So
well, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much. Thank you. We'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, good night and happy eating.
Bye.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Nada. Feel Good production.